Hey, welcome to the post-Trump-matic stress recovery hour. Okay, it's not an hour. We figure 10 minutes is about all most people can pay attention to. But wait, I wrote a note for the show. I had it just a minute ago. I did. I had it a minute ago, and it's not this one. It's not definitely not this one. Whoa. A copy of the comments about the show. You suck. You are a, wait, no, I can't say that. I can't say that at all. I can't say that or that. I can't even say that. So, Donald, or whoever you really are that sent me this, listen. Famous neuroscientist and psychiatrist whose name I can't remember once said at the beginning of a lecture, he said, if you can remember anything, remember this. I suck, and you suck. We all suck sometimes. If we didn't come out of the womb sucking, we'd die of starvation. So suck away. And forget about that note I was looking for. You ever do that? Just take 5 minutes to write a list and lose it, then spend an hour looking for it. Yeah, I'm not going for that now. But that insult was insulting. How do you deal with it when someone threatens you or people you care for or hurts your feelings? Edmund Burke, 18th century British-Irish statesman and philosopher, once said, the only thing needed for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. He argued strongly against unrestrained royal power and for the role of political parties in maintaining principled opposition capable of preventing abuses either by the monarchy or by specific factions within the government. A principled opposition. So how do we deal with those people who are unprincipled, abusive, denigrating, degrading? How do we deal with people who outright lie or are dishonest or manipulate you to benefit themselves? As I said in an earlier episode, this is about carefrontation. You don't want to be a tyrant. That's being a dick or a bitch. And you don't want to be a martyr. That's being a rug that someone steps and wipes their feet on. But you still need to fight. And this requires courage. In a previous episode, I said that the prerequisite for being courageous was fear. These days, most of us non-wealthy would qualify here. But we must also feel two other things besides the fear. When you have some jerk telling you to give them your lunch money, or that you're sitting in their seat, or you see a bully picking on a smaller and weaker person, to be courageous, you may also need to finally just get pissed off, okay? And you may also need to feel protective of other people and yourself. It's important. When soldiers are in a battle, they're really into fighting to protect their brothers and sisters in arms. They're fighting to save the lives of their friends. So the preconditions for courage require a mixture of fear and anger and protectiveness. The fear or anxiety we may initially feel does turn into energy, which we can use to deal with whatever is threatening us. We become more alert, more aware of danger or potential danger. By the way, it's not stress that kills us. It's the fear of stress that does us in. I think of Muhammad Ali in Float Like a Butterfly, but Sting Like a Bee. I also think of David Carradine, Kung Fu character Kai Chang Kane. You know, that peaceful Shaolin monk who actually kicked ass. Usually, it was almost always in slow motion. It was like that. So how do we do this besides the Gandhi and Colombo technique? The moment you get into a fight with your kids, you lose. The moment you get hostile, arguing why you alone are right, you're wrong. And the moment you think you are really cool, you're not. Trust me on this. I know. I tried to be cool and it really failed. I failed. tremendously. One important part of confrontation is you let the other person have the right to disagree with you and give yourself the right to disagree with them without making them wrong or crazy or stupid. You got that? For some of you, that may be very, 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 very difficult. I know we usually reserve the right to call family and friends idiots and nut jobs, but that hasn't worked out too well for the country. Either has it. We still need to debate and relate, to discuss, to parlay. Yeah, parlay. And if we can't even parlay, does that even make us worse than pirates? Aye, that's a yo-ho-ho, I do declare. I know it may seem strange, but I have this belief that almost anyone, almost anywhere, has the right to ask me whatever they want without me being shocked or condescending or who the hell do you think you are? As long as I have the right to say no, and that no is respected by the person asking. Now, this rule does not apply to children, the naive, and all perverted solicitations, okay? Now, post-Trump-matic stress recovery is best accomplished through action. For example, if I'm out to dinner with people I barely know and someone starts talking about an ethnicity or race in a bigoted way, my usual response is, "Are you talking about my mother?" My mother is sometimes black or brown or yellow or red or Muslim or Jewish or sometimes even a cracker. Yeah, I can say cracker, being the old white patriarchal man that I am. It usually doesn't go much further than that. But if their crap persists, leave. If you stay, you're selling out. In many ways, the current administration is selling out the health and welfare of future generations, our children, grandchildren, and so on. Why? To maintain and increase their own wealth and power. The more they buy into gaining wealth and power for the present, the less livable future for most of us on the planet. I mean, that's a 2025 plan, which doesn't seem to be working out. And a lot of us, I don't have that much time left, but it still matters to me about the future of the country and the people. In this country these days, security is all about the money. And we may become almost bankrupt in this pursuit. Okay, not all of us, just people like you and me who are not wealthy, 90% of the population. Look, there's always been greed, entitlement, and those who would take advantage of the weak. The real question is, how do you hold someone accountable when they have more power than you? Also given, you're not supposed to become a hater. The real answer is, use your voice, use your vote, use your words, and to make fun of them like I do. Express yourself, write, sing, tell your truth. Make love and compassion more important than money. Make fun of the ridiculous. Point out the irony. Woman, stop having sex with any man who has confused his reproductive rights with your right to choose. There's a lot of you out there. And everyone who's being threatened with deportation, you 11 million criminals who are harvesting our food, building our homes, caring for our children and elderly, and taking care of our homes too. Look, I can't pay for your food, clothing, and shelter. But what if you just sat down and refused to harvest and build and care for the folks who are doing nothing to save your asses? What if? What if? You know what? I think we need to make America kind again. It's interesting. One way to think about this stuff, I found the note. You know the game Paper, Rock, and Scissors? Okay, scissors cuts papers and wins. Rock crushes scissors and wins. Only pair of scissors, not going to crush it. Paper covers rock and wins. But another way of seeing it is the fist can represent the rock and the two fingers, right? And represent scissors. And And a flat open hand represents paper, right? Now, thinking long and hard on this, I came up with another way to see this. The rock represents anger. The scissors represents fear. And the paper represents love. Okay? So fear destroys love. It does. But anger can crush fear. But love defeats anger. Your fear of being controlled and abandoned will cut your love to pieces. And if you are in love with someone who's a danger to your health and welfare, become very, very afraid. Living in fear is its own prison. If you're tired of being afraid, get pissed off. Remember, both are required for courage. And if you're tired of being furious and annoyed, if you're tired of just being angry at yourself and others, remember that we're attached with our anger. To let go, become protective of yourself, and become more compassionate towards others. Find a way to love. Find at least a way to love yourself. Enough to let go and move on. There have been many great presidents in this country. One was Franklin D. Roosevelt, and he once said, "We have nothing to fear but fear itself." Yeah, bullshit. Sorry, Franklin. Have to call bullshit on that, all right? Being afraid to feel afraid creates a loop that intensifies our anxiety and dread because, oh no, I'm getting anxious, I'm so afraid. Being sad to feel sad increases our emotional pain as well. I'm so sad that I'm sad. And being angry that we get angry. Oh, I'm so angry that I'm angry. Well, you can guess what happens. Yeah, escalates. I'm not sure that the above conditions explain the origin of the word loopy, but there seems to be a very, very strong correlation. It's bad enough to feel scared, sad, and angry. We have to learn to accept and use our emotions. Let's just not get loopy. Remember, pain is a requirement in life, but suffering is optional. However, I can say that I do agree with the fundamental ideas of the man, Roosevelt. He didn't create a recession or depression. He resolved it. He didn't push bigotry and oppression. He advocated freedom. That's all I got for today's show. Remember to lead with respect, follow with compassion, rinse and repeat, and thanks for showing up. For these ideas and more, check out my books. The Paradox Bridge, Suggestions in Life for Those Who Live with the Critically Controlling, for Kindle and paperback editions, as well as Audible for the audio edition of Directions in Life for the Occasionally Confused. You can also get directions for free if you're an Amazon Prime member, all through the oligarchy of Amazon.com. All proceeds will go to making sure I can hightail it out of the country in the event of being targeted by the current administration. Thanks for showing up.